Hannity joining us now with more reaction to this explosive new document that Fox News obtained just a couple hours ago regarding James Comey's exoneration statement about the Clinton server investigation. He's the author of the best-selling book, Vengeance. Former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. Okay, this is May, Mr. Speaker. He hadn't interviewed Hillary Clinton or at least 17 others, key to the investigation. The fix is in. I don't know any other way to interpret it if you're writing an exoneration before an investigation.
Look, I think this is unbelievable. If you and I had sat down, and obviously very pro-Trump, but if we'd both sat down and said 2 years ago, let's write a story in which the head of the FBI consciously sets out to protect Hillary Clinton, no matter how guilty she is, consciously sets out to protect her staff, no matter how guilty they are, sets up everything so that even his statements in public will exonerate her. We couldn't have made this up. If it is now clear, first of all, that if Comey and the FBI had done their job early enough, that you probably would have had Bernie Sanders as the nominee, because Hillary couldn't have survived the obvious news about how guilty she and her staff were.
When you talk about the Clintons, the fix was in there, too, we now know. We know the fix was in.
So here's my point. You now have, and this is a very serious question for the Congress, and frankly, I think it puts an enormous amount of pressure on the Attorney General, because I think Attorney General Sessions has an absolute obligation to look at this information and begin to think about how they're going to prosecute Comey and how they're going to prosecute all of these other senior FBI agents who clearly, based on their text messages back and forth, and including, by the way, I think, a great deal of as yet unreported guilt in terms of the chief deputy whose wife had gotten, I think, $900,000 from the Democrats, and yet who was still engaged in all this. I mean, you have here a cesspool of corruption covering up for the Clintons in a way which I would have to say, as a historian, is unimaginable. I do not know of any point in American history where you have this level of a system of corruption. We've had occasional attorney generals. We had one under Harding. We had one under Grant. I mean, you can go back and find individuals who were crooks. But this level of constant, methodical undermining of the rule of law, people who thought it was their job to save America. I mean, you have this when you're talking about law enforcement officials who decide they will impose their version on the American people, you're talking about something very scary and something which totally undermines the American system.
Mr. Speaker, I want to get into the specifics of this. This is very profound because on a level far deeper than Watergate ever was here, there is corruption at the highest levels. This is no longer paranoia. It's provable fact that the fix was in here. You have James Comey. Then you have the pro-Hillary, anti-Trump Peter Strzok, and then his girlfriend, Lisa Page. Yeah, they're the ones that are going to save America with what they're doing. But this exoneration of Hillary Clinton, when you take out the word likely foreign actors were able to access her email account to cover up a foreign, a national security breach in this country. Then when you take the actual legal language, gross negligence, and you remove that and put in, and you try to be cute and put in extreme carelessness, I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's nothing. Well, wouldn't you define this as obstruction? Sorry.
Look, at every level, this is undermining our system of justice. It is violating the law. It's very likely all of these people will end up going to jail. But imagine that the reverse had happened. Imagine that they had allowed the law to follow its natural course. Imagine that you'd gotten a report last summer, or the summer of 2016, by Director Comey saying, well, you know, it's likely that foreign agents did get to her accounts because of the way she'd handled them and the way she'd broken the rules. It is clear that she was guilty of gross negligence, which in fact is a technical term meaning that she had broken the law. And if he had said, therefore, I am recommending that she be prosecuted, I mean, you would have blown the whole campaign wide open at that point. You probably would have had Trump winning with 55 or 60% of the vote. You'd have had a shattering of the Democratic Party. All of this is I literally, and I'll challenge anybody in our audience to find me a case where you have this kind of methodical corruption, this violation of the rule of law at this level of bureaucracy. Not the political appointees at the very top, but people who have spent their career who are sworn to uphold the law. And I think it's maybe the greatest crisis in terms of law and order and the rule of law in American history.
The rule of law in jeopardy.